Evening. And I would like to say good evening to everyone on this Sunday, March 12th, 2023, the first day of daylight saving time. So we're hoping that everybody got the message that we're here at 6 o'clock today and during daylight saving time. So we're going to get a little bit more light at the end of the day, and hopefully spring in a couple of weeks, or maybe this week, maybe this week. Welcome, everyone. I'm Donna Whyte, and John Dutton is there on the controls. And, we are partners in Witness to History to bring stories of our Moreland neighbors to not only the Moreland community, but everybody who wants to join us to have this wonderful conversation. We're in for a treat this evening, everybody. Monica Boone, there you are, Monica. Thank you for agreeing to be our guest this evening. Thank you so much. And for those who think you know Monica, many of you do. Family, of course, knows the stories that Monica will tell. But, for many others, we're going to learn so much more about Monica Boone this evening. And thank you so much, Monica, for agreeing to be our guest. I just want to say a few thank yous, as I do at the beginning of every Witness to History. I'd like to thank Theo Darden. I see you here, for making sure that, our community knows about all the events that are happening in Moreland and Shaker more broadly. Thank you again, of course, to Megan Hayes, who's always with us every month for Witness to History and who posts our Witness to History interviews on the Shaker Library site. And I saw Kevin and Lee. Kevin and Lee, thank you for being here for Witness to History today, to sharing this conversation with Monica. Thank you for being here. And of course, I probably share every month that Witness to History is a brainchild of a conversation 3 years ago now, 2020, where we talked about, Kevin and I and Lee and everybody involved talked about how it is that during the pandemic, which fortunately it is somewhat past, about having conversations and keeping us connected here in the Moreland community. And so as long as folks are willing, and as long as John's willing to be on the controls, I'm willing, to have these conversations each month. So without further ado, again, welcome, Monica Boone. Here you are to tell your story. And what we'll do is we're going to have a good conversation that probably will go a little bit past 7 o'clock. But I do want to invite everyone to include comments or questions in the chat, and I'll make sure during our conversation that I'll read them and share those with Monica. And anybody who really wants to chime in, don't hesitate to do so. All righty. Okay, Monica, we're going to get started. We have a wonderful opportunity now. So as I start, always, we talk about, folks pass, and you have wonderful pictures to share with us about your family, your background, and the beautiful pictures that you have of your family and of you, of course, when you were a child. So tell us who's on these slides.
Okay. When we were preparing to do this, I, of course, immediately had to start from the beginning. And the beginning is my first memory.
Okay.
On this slide, the picture, I'm the baby sitting on my grandmother's lap.
Yes, nice.
And that's my grandmother, Anna Mae Francisco Tony. And my mom, it was the oldest of 8 sisters and 2 brothers.
Nice. Oh, wow.
And so we lived in Alliance, Ohio at the time. And my father, Robert Boone, who is the young man on the other side.
Okay, on the right.
Me with the puppy, I met in high school.
Okay.
So they were high school sweethearts. And the 2 pictures in the middle, that is my great-grandmother, Pearl.
Nice.
Who is one of my first memories. And I'll tell you this story real quick. My great grandmother Pearl was a very endowed woman. And the thing I remember most about her is that she would love holding the babies in the family. And she would have one baby here and one baby here, and she would just sit and she would just jiggle. And it was like being on the first air mattress ever invented.
All right. Okay.
It was the best sleep ever. And I remember that. That's like one of my first memories. I remember that.
That's great.
And so, and my grandmother, Anna May, the thing that I loved most about her is that she always had a special drawer of candy. Each grandchild had their favorite candy. But she didn't let you know that she had candy for every grandchild. She always made it seem like she just had candy for you.
Of course.
So you would come and visit her and she'd say, oh, go to your drawer and get your special candy. And then at the bottom is my grandmother, my father Robert's mother, Mary Boone.
Nice.
Brown. And then the other picture are both my parents with me and my cousin Marianne is the other baby. And the one in the middle is my grandfather, Johnny Brown, who married my grandmother. My other grandfather we'll see on another picture. Was Anna May's. I couldn't find his service picture of him in his service uniform to add to this one.
Okay.
And so the thing that about my grandfathers that I found very unique is that at a young age, I could recognize that they talked to you, or at least I felt that they talked to me like an adult. They asked my opinion about things. At 8 years old, I remember them asking for me to analyze and to come to an opinion about something and to make up my own mind. And I knew I could recognize that that was kind of unique because at the time it was that age in the 70s where children were seen and not heard. And you weren't supposed to have opinions. But both my grandfathers, they talked to you. At least I remember them having those conversations and having deep, wonderful conversations with them.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And then the other young woman is my Aunt Bessie. She's my great Aunt Bessie. She is the oldest sister of my grandmother, Anna May. And I always heard wonderful stories of her. And she took care of us. She ran a daycare on our street when we moved.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so I'll get, when we get to the Cleveland years, I'll get back to her.
Yeah.
But, she was very vital and important in my life.
I know you have many pictures, family pictures. So who else do you have here? What's our next slide? Oh, okay. Childhood.
So now we have kindergarten, and there's me and my sister Melanie.
Hello, Melanie. I know Melanie's with us this evening, right?
Yes, there she is.
Chiming in.
There's the entire family, and there's the youngest picture, I believe, of Melanie.
Oh, okay.
On my mom's lap, and there we are. And we lived in an apartment across the street from Mount Sinai Hospital, and both my parents worked at Mount Sinai Hospital.
Right. Everybody know where Mount Sinai was on East 105th Street.
Right.
On East 105th. Yep.
I believe that's us at Euclid Park or at the beach. There.
Oh, okay. Oh, you were at Euclid Beach. Okay.
That's where we went to Euclid Beach. But one of the things that we did as a family, there were two other families that we used to hang out with, the Halls and the Greens. And they both had two young boys around our age. And we took these wonderful trips to Kings Island and to SeaWorld. And where you would just load everyone in the car and just drive, and we would stay in the hotel and go to the Ohio State Fair. And I just, to this day, I just wonder. And of how we were able to do all that.
Mm.
And have these wonderful vacations and
That's when,
trips.
you think
Yeah.
about how, young parents just take off, pack up
Yeah,
the kids and go.
pack up the
Pack up
kids
the
and
kids
go.
and go.
So when my sister was born in Cleveland. I was born in Alliance.
Oh, okay.
So I have to be about 4.5 there, 5, 4.5. So she was born in Cleveland at
Okay.
Mount Sinai Hospital, I believe.
All right. A whole bunch of us were born there.
Right. Yes, we have a strong history at Mount Sinai Hospital.
Yeah.
And so when we moved here, we moved on 146th Street.
Okay.
And my great Aunt Bessie, who was in the previous picture that I had pointed out before, she ran a daycare center. So when the kids went to school, they would drop them off at her house. The parents would go off to work. They would drop the kids off there on their way to work, and she would get them off to school.
Oh, nice.
And then on the way home, they would stop there and they would pick them up from there. And I was one of the older kids at the house. And the thing I remember most is that there were times where she would have to leave. And I was her VCR. They didn't have VCRs at that time. So I could go almost 20, 30 years back on any soap opera.
Oh, wow.
So if I had to watch the kids, or if I had to, she'd say, okay, my story's going on. So I'd be watching Guiding Light or Days of Our Lives. And we would sit and talk. And here I was, this 9, 10-year-old, and say, oh, let me tell you what, what happened when Laura, came on Days of Our Lives.
You remember those soap
We would have
operas?
those conversations.
Now, this picture of you, is it at Robert Fulton when you lived on 146? So
On
that,
146, yes, that's the apartment. It was a 2-family.
Okay.
Family.
Okay. So from elementary, you went to Hamilton, did you say? Hamilton Junior High?
Yes, I went all the way from kindergarten through 6th grade. I graduated from 6th grade of Robert Fulton. And while at Robert Fulton, I was in all the activities. I was in Glee Club. I was in choir. I played the violin. My mom started us on music lessons. I took violin lessons starting at 5 years old. And we had borrowed a violin from the person who sold our family insurance.
Oh, nice.
And at some point they said it had been a Stradivarius. I don't know the validity of that, but I choose to believe that is true.
Okay, so for those who may not know Robert Fulton, the school building is actually still standing between 140th and 142nd, right near Milverton, actually.
Yes, our house was actually on the dividing line. So that if we had been one house over, well, we would have gone to Rickoff.
Okay. You're a little bit younger than me, so I wouldn't have seen you there, but yep.
Oh,
I was in that district. Yes. All right, so what's our next slide?
Right, and then I went to Alexander Hamilton. So these are some of my aunties, one of which, the one in the wedding dress, was on the corner of the picture of me on my grandmother's lap. That's my mom and other 2 of her sisters. One of her sisters, there's a story that I had taken one of my aunts to school for show and tell.
Okay.
Because they had lived with us.
Okay.
There was a period of time where they had lived with us. I always remember my mom and my grandmother. All my grandmothers were very open and generous people. And I remember waking up and stepping over, bodies on the floor because people would fly in. It wasn't about, if it was family, you didn't stay in a hotel, you stayed in the house. And if you had to camp out, you pulled out the blankets and the pillows and you all camped out in the living room on the floor.
Yeah.
And if you were looking to maybe move or relocate, A lot of my mom and my grandmother, they eventually relocated to Boston.
Mm.
But I remember seeing one of my aunts, and I don't remember which one. I think it was my Aunt Dee Dee, the one that's in the front of that picture on the stairs.
Okay.
But they had these huge afros, these huge afros. And I just remember thinking I had never seen anything so beautiful in my life, and I just had to share it. So of course I wanted to take her to school for show and tell. I don't remember if that actually occurred, but I remember the desire to wanting to
All
do
right.
that.
Now, whose house is this with the stairway?
That was their house, and that was the family house in Boston.
In Boston.
Yes,
Okay.
unfortunately, I believe it was lost in a fire
Oh,
some
oh
years
my
ago.
goodness. It looks very much
Um,
like a Cleveland house.
yeah,
Yes.
but that was my Aunt Dorcas's wedding
Nice.
years ago.
Nice.
And that is my grandmother. You saw her picture on the first one. That was shortly before she passed.
Hmm.
But she got to meet her great-great-granddaughter.
Oh, nice.
So that is
Bless her.
Danielle as a baby, and that was us taking the drive to Alliance to introduce her to Danielle.
Okay. All
So
right.
we were glad that we were able to do that before she had passed away.
Now, when did your family move to Shaker?
Let me back up just one little thing.
Mhm.
One of the things that my father used to do, my father
Mhm.
Robert, he used to take me and my sister ice skating, and I
Okay.
didn't realize until recently that that was in Shaker.
In
It
Shaker.
was in Ludlow. It was
Mhm.
this grassy area that had a dip in it, and when it would get cold and they fill it with water,
Yes.
it would be a little ice pond, and so we would go ice skating there, and then we'd get ice cream at Franklin's.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
that was our introduction,
memories.
to Shaker, because we were so close to the border being on
Mhm.
146.
Mhm. Memories.
Um,
Franklin
when
ice cream.
Franklin ice cream,
Yes. Uh-huh.
that was that was the good old days.
Yep.
When my parents divorced when I was 12, I went to Hamilton, and
Mhm.
I went to Warrensville. My mom moved to Warrensville, and
Okay.
my dad moved to Cleveland Heights. But I was living with my mom, and I actually took a public bus. You can't do that now. I took a city bus. I think I was 12, 13,
Yeah.
14 at the time,
Mhm.
from Warrensville Heights so that I could finish 8th grade, because it was the
Oh,
middle of the year and I wanted to
okay.
complete the 8th grade with my class. And took the bus back home to Warrensville. And then when 9th grade started, I officially enrolled into Warrensville.
Okay. Okay. That was a time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, many of us were on public transportation when we were very young.
Yeah.
I have memories of riding from our house on 140 downtown on the 14, and
Right.
you only had to take one bus. So that made it a little bit easier. The 14 or the 48, one or
Right.
the other. Yes, yes, yes. And I mean, we didn't have to worry about things like, safety or anything like that. Not at that
So
time.
one of the things that we used to do is we used to drive around,
Mhm.
and we drove around through Shaker, and look at the houses. And we
Yes.
always played the game. Oh, that's going to be my house. No, that's going to be my house. And we would, just point to the different houses. And when I uh, uh, went through Warrensville, I want to tell this one story. The senior year in Warrensville, there was no theater department. This was like my introduction to theater. Our English teacher decided to start a theater group, and we got extra credit if we joined. And I had not really been exposed to theater at
Mm.
that time. I had been more exposed to television. I was pretty much a television baby. So I had a love for old movies, especially musicals and things like that, but not really like live theater. And so that we started reading plays, and he started introducing us to plays. And the play that we decided to perform in front of the school assembly was A Raisin in the Sun.
Oh, nice.
And so the group got cast, and we had to cast people based on who was in the club.
Mm-hmm.
So after, everyone was cast, guess what part I ended up getting? Did I get the female lead? No. Did I get the second female lead or get to play the mother? No. I ended up playing Travis, the son.
Okay.
So not only was it my introduction to theater, it was my introduction to non-traditional casting.
Okay.
So I found it quite educational.
You're ahead of your time. You're ahead of your time.
Yes. But after graduating from Warrensville, I went to Kent, and then that's when my mom met Ernie, Daddy Ernie.
All righty. Hello there, Ernie. Let everybody know you're here. There you are. There you are. Wonderful. So is our next slide the Kent State? I don't know.
Oh,
no, this is
well, that is 7th grade, and that is orchestra from Robert Fulton. And that is a song I taught my sister and forced her to sing with me. And I still force her to sing with me every now and then.
Okay.
It's from musical White Christmas, a song called Sisters. That Rosemary Clooney sings with Vera Bella. So yes, I taught it to her, and this is us performing for Mom in the living room.
I can remember doing those things with, yes, having one sister who will perform with you is special.
Yes, yes, it is.
We're going to, I think, see our Kent State. There you are.
Okay, so there I am graduating from Kent State.
Yes, yes, yes.
Kent was a wonderful experience. It was the first time I had really gotten exposed to a completely new group of people. Because I had been pretty much surrounded by just family and the people in my area. I hadn't really ventured out much or had that, opportunity. We didn't do that sort of thing outside of the family trips, and I was a child then. But at Kent, I got to meet other theater people and got to talk theater and be able to share that love. Be able to share my love of science fiction and meet other sci-fi geeks like myself. I got introduced, I took a self-defense class because I was staying in Tri-Towers at Kent, and Tri-Towers and the theater department, in between Tri-Towers and the theater department, right in the middle, was a wooded area where it was a shortcutted path in order to get from one to the other.
Okay.
Because if you caught the bus, you pretty much had to go all the way around campus to get there. Otherwise, you would just take a 5-minute walk. But that area, of course, was, called Rape Woods. So I immediately took a self-defense class, which was a Taekwondo class. My Taekwondo instructor, Master Kim, was amazing, amazing man. And his advice, and I hear it in my head with a Korean accent, so forgive me if when I repeat it, it comes out with a Korean accent. But he said to me, because when you start Taekwondo initially and you start getting a little confident and cocky with your abilities, sometimes you can get a little, overzealous with, oh yeah, I can really, I can knock you on the floor, I can throw you over my shoulder. And I think I was getting a little of a swagger, after so many lessons. And he said to me, he says, if somebody come up to you in a bar and they flirt with you, they try to you know, you want to date you, you know, you don't like, you say, no, go away, go away. But if they, you know, they come and they, you know, they hold you, they try to hurt you, you break their face.
Okay, all righty. So that's what you were
And
learning how to do. And these are your trophies?
yes.
Oh,
So I jumped in with both feet, so to speak. And I look fondly on my period in Taekwondo. I did it for 20 years. It's the time I could fly. I had a back spinning kick that I think
oh my
fondly
goodness.
of every now and then.
It would be wonderful to have some footage of that, Monica.
I'm sure there's some video.
Yes.
That one of my old teammates,
Mm.
who actually is a teacher in Shaker, that might have it. I wasn't able to get a hold of him in time to see if he still has
Yes.
it. It's on VHS, I'm sure.
Well, one
But
of
we
these
went
days,
to
we're going to have to
different
make sure that
tournaments.
when you get a hold of that, we're going to have to
Mhm.
make sure everybody sees it.
But I got my black belt, and
Oh,
my goal was to be on the Olympic team.
oh,
So up in 91, I made it up to 16th in the country,
oh,
a national champion. You had to be in the top 10 to be on the Olympic team.
wow, you just missed it. Wow.
I just missed
Amazing.
it. And after that, I aged out, because
Mm.
after the age of 28, you're considered old. I
Mm.
was fighting, you know, 15, 16-year-olds,
Yeah.
and, you know, 25, 26. So,
Goodness,
yeah.
that's amazing. That is amazing. Now we're going to go back to a slide at this
Okay.
particular time of your mother's wedding, your mother and father's
Yes.
wedding.
And we still have the dresses.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay. Yes, we still have those dresses. I'm sure in the basement of the house. That's my senior picture from Warrensville in the purple dress. And then that's us. We were bridesmaids at the wedding. It was a wonderful wedding.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful wedding.
I'm sure that had to have been just really special to have your daughters in your wedding. Just beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And Janae says, "Oh, beautiful." I think everybody would echo, you know, how wonderful this is. Yes. So you all are in Shaker at this particular time, and we're going
Not quite, not quite.
not quite.
This
Okay.
So my second year in Kent, I come back home for one of the holidays,
Mm-hmm.
and we do our Sunday drives. We're driving around. Oh, I want that house. I want this house. And we pull up in front of a house on Avalon. And we go, oh, well, I like that house. What do you think about that one? Oh, well, that one looks nice. And they start to get out of the car. And I'm like, you know, okay, what's happening? And they said, well, why don't we just go look around the back, go look in the window, see if someone's home. Let's see if, you know, if it's for sale. And so I go look around, and next thing I know, they're walking through the front door. And I'm going, wait a minute, we're going to get arrested. We got to get out of here.
Right.
And they had bought the house.
That's a good one.
That's how they told me that they had bought the house. And me and my only immediately went running around and in every room and started, you know, pointing, that's my room. No, this is going to be my room.
Oh.
So that was a lovely house on Avalon. Absolutely loved it.
Your introduction to Shaker. What a nice surprise.
Mm-hmm.
What a nice surprise. I think many of us, like, you know, when you were sharing with me how your family would drive around and look at the houses, our family did the same thing. It must have been, you know, because we weren't far. A nice Sunday afternoon drive.
Yeah.
A wonderful way to introduce you to Shaker. And here you are, even now. All right. So where are we in terms of your family?
Well, the previous picture, I was water skiing. The theater people that I met, I used to vacation with in Interlaken.
Oh, okay.
And they were the ones that introduced me. Yes, there I am water skiing. So they were the ones that took me to the music. They had a house on the lake and used to work at the music camp up in Traverse City in Interlaken.
Yes, yes.
And
And I
so,
don't know if many people are familiar with Interlaken. It's quite a
yeah, it's
prestigious
beautiful, beautiful
community.
place.
Yes.
So taught me how to water ski. I got to sail,
Mm.
and just hang out. It was the first thing we did for 2 weeks was take off our watches and just be,
Wow.
and
Wow.
just read and write poetry and bake gingerbread and chili. It was wonderful.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, they were my college professors. They were actually my theater
Mm.
professors,
Oh my
and their
goodness.
children,
Okay.
Robbie and Antoinette Tony, were my roommates, and that's how I was able to make that connection. But the wonderful thing about them was that my last semester, I had the money for school, but I didn't have money for housing. I
Okay.
had literally ran out of money my last semester. And when I called to tell them that I was going to have to save up to come back, I wasn't coming back my
Mm.
last semester, they said, oh, no, 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 you come stay with us. So I got to stay with them that last semester. And when I needed a card, they said, here's the card, go, go somewhere or whatever like that. And it was just wonderful. I mean, just generous, generous people. I've really been very blessed that way.
Well, they saw something special in you too.
Oh,
They wanted to make sure that you
thank
did
you.
not leave at that particular point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we were looking at some slides. Yes, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's your mother, you and your mother with a
Yes,
crowns on.
yes. This was one
Family
of her
pictures,
birthdays.
family pictures. And Ernie, you may have to tell us about this picture here.
That was Father's Day.
Okay.
And of course, I found a cape because we have always said that he's a Superman.
Superman, that's great.
Yeah. And then that was my sister's luau party. When she turned 30, gave her a luau party.
Mm. Nice, nice, wonderful family pictures.
And that's me and my dad, the one in the middle, at the United Black Fund. They used to have these wonderful black tie events.
Yes, I remember.
And, yeah, so that's us going to that event.
So where are we on our next slide? Here we are.
Oh, this is us on Shaker Life. That's Danielle and Justin, my nephew Justin.
Okay.
And that's us on Mother's Day. We were going to one of the buffets, I think. And that's Mary Butcher. She was one of the first people in Shaker that we had met.
Oh, okay. She looks familiar.
Yeah, she's the Shaker resident.
Okay.
I believe she lives on Ludgate.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we were taking her, we were going off to one of a buffet. And that's my brother and sister in the bottom picture. My father had remarried, so I had a little brother and little sister then. And then that's my little sister Brittany at the top, and my sister Melanie.
Nice, beautiful. Now we have other pictures around Shaker. Here we are.
Oh, we did so many activities while we were in Shaker. There were all these things to do. The Olympic torch came through town, and we, of course, lined up for that. We did Hands Across America.
Yes,
I thought was funny because we were all lined up, and you could see all these people holding hands, and this was supposed to be hands from the east to the west, all across America. And we were supposed to sing the song, but nobody knew the song except that one line. But we still tried, and it was wonderful.
We should ask folks here who participated in Hands Across America. Who remembers that? That was wonderful. It's such a wonderful memory. Yes, absolutely.
That's one of the picnics. That is another one. A couple more of the fantastic women in my life. At the top is Mrs. Woods. Is my mom's best friend since childhood. From Alliance, Shirley Woods. And then her mother, Miss Bobby, and just wonderful. I've just been blessed to have just some wonderful, strong women. I am just absolutely amazed, from my Aunt Bessie to my grandmothers, um, to my mom. I mean, when I think of, what my mom had to overcome being a divorced woman in the 70s, and how at that time you weren't allowed to have your own credit. Your identity was so tied with your husband that everything was against you, and the society, the laws were punishing you for being a divorced woman.
And that lasted.
We overcame that and wanted to be sure to share an example that, that we can, just to keep on swimming, like Dory says, and Finding Nemo, keep on swimming.
And, just as we talk about strong women and we're celebrating Women's History Month, it's so appropriate to have this conversation with you this month in March. All righty. Yes. What do we have coming up next?
Oh, that's the next generation. That's my babies. I got a chance to be an auntie, which I think is my favorite role ever.
Oh, wonderful.
That's the part I'm most special. So that, of course, is a different pictures of Danielle with her brothers. There is Justin, and then her younger brother, Regis. The one in the bottom corner, of course, you can see that Danielle is expecting. So then we'll see, her child soon. And a follow-up picture. The one in the headshot in the corner is one of my favorite pictures of her. And then Halloween, taking, the trick-or-treating. I always dressed up with them when they were little, and I would take them trick-or-treating. More than likely, I wore a Star Trek uniform that I made myself, or some other uniform. I would try to match what they were wearing, but that was fun.
Yes, aunts have special places in their children's lives, in their nieces and nephews' lives, for sure.
Yes, I love auntie.
Yes. And our next slide is your family.
That's my Uncle Bobby and my dad at the baseball game. My Uncle Bobby lives in Boston. That's my mother's brother. And every year we would all go to the baseball game, and he would fly in because you see him decked out because he loves the Indians. Unfortunately, due to health issues, we haven't been able to continue that tradition. And of course, COVID kind of nixed that as well. But I just adored loving us. I love tradition. I love having a tradition to be able to follow and to repeat and to be able to look forward to. The other side is my nephew Regis, the young man that was on the previous picture.
Okay. Wow. All grown up.
Yeah, all grown up. That's his wife, Rachel, and that's their daughter, Rachel.
Nice.
So that's, I get to be a great auntie.
Yes. Yes. And I was looking at this statue here, Larry Doby. And I believe that he was the first, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Ernie, wasn't he the first African-American recruited into the American League? Didn't he come in 1948? I think he came in the same year that Jackie Robinson came into the whatever. I don't know the leagues. Am I right about that? Yep.
The middle picture is my grandfather. The
one
that was married to Anna Mae, the one in the blue sweater. And then that's his brother, Uncle Kenny. They both passed on. And then the bottom picture is my father, Robert, and he's passed on as well.
Oh, okay. Sorry for your loss. Now we have a conversation, and I'm not sure what we have after this, but I know you have a lot to share with us about your work life and many people that you met during the many places and many opportunities you've had in your work life. Is that where we are on our slides? Yes.
Okay.
Here we are. My goodness. I'm sure that some of us, probably all of us, recognize who you're standing there with in the left picture. Share with us that experience.
I was very fortunate to be able to work for an organization called Accord Associates. Accord Associates had a concert series. Dr. Leslie Adam, who is a wonderful classical composer. If you're not familiar with the name, Google him. He will come up. And he wrote an opera, a Black opera called Blake. And so what Accord had, Accord Concert Choir, and they had a regular series, and they also were part of the Tri-C Jazz Fest. And I was able to be a production and producer assistant with the Accord Concert Choir. And working with Miss Gloria Fitchford, she taught me so much about production and putting on a show. This was my first time working in the management side of theater, because before I had always been on stage, but we had decided to put the opera together. So we had dreams of getting our Tonys, of having Oscars when the film would be made. We're used to dream about the dresses we would wear. And we had coordinated that it was sponsored by the Cleveland Institute of Music and Knoxville College. It would have a premiere in Knoxville and have a premiere in Cleveland, but Knoxville would be first. And Alex Haley lived in Knoxville. And so we were connected with him. And when we told him the story, he was on board. And so when we met with him, I got to hold his Emmy from Roots, which was absolutely wonderful. It was like, okay, yes, I want one. And I got to hold Chicken George's hat. And we cast it. We had rehearsals. We had funding from the endowment. And we had a production team. And there is a current picture of Dr. Adams. He's over 90 now. I ran into him a year ago, so that's a new picture of us running into him. And so we were all ready to get started on everything, and then our funding got pulled. And we had to break it down and break down the production.
And I think the National Endowment on the Arts has pulled funding over time. Yes.
But unfortunately, I mean, I had to ride a bus back with the cast, and it was, I was heartbroken. I was completely heartbroken, and the court kind of disbanded it. It bankrupted the organization, unfortunately, because they had put everything in. We had this organization put together, but I found Alex Haley to be a sweet and a kindred spirit, so to speak. And the sweetest thing that he said to me, because I told him I was writing too, and that I had always wanted to write. And he said to me, well, send me what you write, I'll read it. And he made that offer to me. And I kind of hemmed and hawed and you know, kind of got nervous about it. And you know how you kind of talk yourself in and out of things. And he went off and he showed me some of the pages of Queenie. He had been working on Queenie, so I got to see some of that. And he went off on the ship where he always wrote on a ship from his days in the Navy, and then he had passed away. I had missed, you know, that opportunity. Which, you know, twice I've had that happen to me, where I've missed the opportunity because I delayed. I had the same offer made by Margie O'Barrett, who is Gene Roddenberry's wife. Before Gene Roddenberry passed, she says, well, he often reads things if you got a script.
This is what I said, to say it loud and clear for anybody who has someone offer that to them, take advantage of it for sure. I have a note here from Cheryl Bobo to let you know that her family lived on the corner of East 147th and Melverton. And she went to Robert Fulton and Alexander Hamilton. You all have to have a conversation. She's right here in our Moreland neighborhood. So, you know, going back to, you know, our early years, Okay, so what else? You have other work experiences that are, well, let me ask you this question, you know, in terms of the production, Blake is representing who's Blake? I mean, or why was the opera entitled Blake?
The opera was entitled Blake. It took place during slavery, and that was the name of the slave.
Okay.
And it was during a slave revolt, and that was, it was all, and the music was absolutely beautiful.
Okay. I was trying to read. I'm sitting here reading the article that's posted. I'll read it a little bit later. Okay. All right. Okay. The next slide.
That was when I was at the Cleveland Playhouse.
Okay.
I was able to work at the Cleveland Playhouse.
Now, this was the Cleveland Playhouse that was on Euclid.
Yes.
Yes, we have to keep that in mind. The Cleveland Playhouse that is in the middle of Cleveland Clinic at this particular point that we know has not survived. Yes.
Right. That beautiful facility. And it breaks my heart to see that it's not being utilized as a theater anymore.
Yes.
They had a reputation, being in the middle of an African-American community, as being not welcoming. They were able to get a Lila Wallace grant to increase African-American audiences. And I was hired as the audience development director at that time.
Okay.
And I believed in their sincerity, that they truly wanted to embrace the neighborhood and the community and to be part of the area that they lived in. So I was all in. One of the programs that I'm most proud of, and this was my first experience, I coordinated, this was during the Say No to Drugs campaign that was out. So I coordinated the anti-drug professional programs. I drove around in my little silver Datsun to all the area schools and offered them free tickets to come to the Ohio, it was either Ohio or the State Theater, but it was downtown, because we wanted over 1,000 people. So it wasn't going to be held at the Playhouse. And we had a free performance of the play, but we also had an after play discussion with the actors.
Oh, great.
Then the professionals came and talked, and we gave promotional booknets together that we passed out to the students. And the students got a chance to ask questions. This model sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yes, yes.
I kind of repeated that model later on. But this was the first time I had done it. Working with the Playhouse, they completely absorbed everything I had done and made it, oh, it's all part of the marketing department. We are one. But all of a sudden, we are one turned into the person of whose name I will not mention.
Okay.
So all my work seemed to be labeled under their work. And then when evaluation time came, it was like, well, you haven't done anything because we have no proof you've done anything. The Cleveland Playhouse broke my heart quite a bit. After the Cleveland Playhouse, I took a break. It was intended to be a couple-year break from entertainment because their attitudes, and I had never kind of butted that kind of head with that kind of, I want to say the R word.
Well. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we all know what I mean.
I think that, institutions have cultures of their own. Let me put it that way.
Thank you.
How's that?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, but the other side of it is that, the people you reached benefited significantly by the work that you did. And you never know, you change lives by reaching out to people. So, I'm sure that it was not all for naught for certain, surely. What do we have here? I see some familiar faces in some of these photos.
And this is when I'm going to blatantly name
I'm kind of going to be mindful of our time. I know we still have a few slides to go. But share with us some of your, and I want to, just make a comment too about how you had made a comment about how you had been accustomed to being on the stage and then, more so in production. And many of us, I think when I first became most familiar with you was around maybe Our Town, just kind of coming full circle. you know, come full circle and thinking about how it is that you're still using your arts background, you know, to in so many different ways that we know, you
Yes.
know, that we know just here in the neighborhood. But take us a little bit more to some things that have shaped your background here.
So these are some of the people, you know, there's Donny Osmond, Melba Moore, Barry Whyte that I got to meet throughout my career. Alex Haley again, of course, Gloria Estefan, Michael Keaton, John Amos,
Yes, I see.
Bill Cobb, some pictures that aren't
He's a
listed there, Jesse
Clevelander.
Jackson, James Earl Jones. I got George Benson, John Glenn, I got to meet as well.
Nice.
When I worked at WJMO, there were a lot of artists that came in and out. I worked at Channel 19, WOIO when they were in Shaker Square. I was an intern there. So I got to see a lot of people and just, you know, have short interactions. Some people I had a little longer interactions, depending on which job I had at the time. So these were some of the people. Now, Nichelle Nichols was at a Comic-Con. And I did not realize that this was when she was in the beginning stages of her dementia. But I got a chance to tell her what seeing her on Star Trek as an African-American woman on TV meant to me.
Absolutely.
And I cried like a baby. I mean, hysterical, ugly cry where I could barely get the words out. And it was like, it was very
powerful. That was a powerful role, you know, very significant to many
But yes,
people.
that was one of the main reasons that I loved Star Trek so much at that time. Yes.
I was a Trekkie. I used to watch Star Trek.
Oh.
The reruns. I don't think I ever saw the, you know, I saw the reruns, the years of them. Yes. And this is a really nice picture you have here of you and Stephanie Tubbs Jones.
Oh, yes. She lit the Christmas tree. I was one of the first people when I got hired in the Cleveland Playhouse. The staff, the only people that were African-American at the time were the maintenance crew. And they had heard that I was coming and they actually did a clap in and clapped me in as I walked up to the offices. And, you know, and that kind of, you know, made me tear up because they said, we've been waiting a long time for someone of color to walk up those stairs.
Wow. You're talking about history.
Yeah. So, oh, this is my acting years. So that's why I'm always trying to be very, you know, conscious when I coach someone on stage. I remember my history of being on stage. So that's my headshot that, you know, I took in the 90s from when I was trying to decide if I was going to pursue a professional career on stage. I did several plays in Karamu. I was in the Glass Menagerie, and that was significant because I got to play Laura, which was the lead. I had done many plays, but that was the first time I had a character that had a name. Usually I was person in crowd, you know, woman number two, you know, that kind of thing. So I was excited to be able to play that part. Plus it was simul performance with the Cleveland Playhouse at the time, which was unique. And that was in '87. I did 2 movies. I did The Lords of Craxton, which was science fiction. It was Peter Fields, local filmmaker, and which was nice because I got to shoot electric fire bolts out of my fingertips. And then To See the Moon in the Morning Sky, I got to play the mean insurance hospital administrator that kicked the poor woman out because she didn't have insurance.
All right, you were on the screen.
Yes. And then the other picture on the left is Runaways. That was my acting, and I didn't have a name during that, but I'm like 19 in that picture. That was at Kent State. And my character didn't have a name there, but I got to sing. I had a couple good monologues and I had a good song. And I got to, the stuffed animal is my stuffed animal, Leonard, of course, named after Leonard Nimoy. And I was so scared to go to school, I actually I took a stuffed animal with me and hid him because I didn't want my parents to know that I was scared. So,
Well, a lot of people keep
but
stuffed
that's me
animals
on
for a
stage.
long time. Leonard, okay, we'll keep that in
Um,
mind.
the bottom picture is Boulevard Theater. I know we're running short on time, so I'll hurry. The bottom picture is Boulevard Theater. Now that is Shaker Heights. We had a community theater that performed at Heights Christian Church. And Heights Christian Church, it had a regular season, and I did a lot of stage managing behind the scenes, but I got to sing and dance and do a couple of onstage performances and shadow box and side by side by Sondheim. And that's us in the Memorial Day Parade. My niece Danielle, you can see her on the parade float as well.
Nice.
Do I have time to tell the story? Well, there's a wonderful story that we're on the parade float and we're throwing our candy and we're dressed up in togas, wearing sheets as the original Greeks.
Okay.
As the origin of theater. And so we're throwing our candy, and some of the people that knew us, they go, "Hey, look at the thespians, look at the thespians." And so she's like looking, and she goes, "Auntie," and we're all women on the float. And she goes, "Auntie, why are they calling you a thespian? Do you have something to tell me?" And I was like, it took me a minute. I was like, "Oh no, dear, thespian means
yes,
theater person."
It wouldn't have occurred to you to have that conversation ahead of time, right? Pretty spontaneous.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Boulevard disbanded, I think, in 2001, 2002, around there.
That's great.
Okay.
So the next slide, I think, is Imagine.
Yes.
Yes.
So unfortunately, my niece Danielle, she was killed in 2005.
Oh boy.
In a teen domestic violence incident. And so the picture with the bunny, of course, is my favorite picture with her. So I just remember at her service, my mom saying, you know, how can we prevent this? How can we stop this from happening? You know, this shouldn't happen. So we started Imagine Institute. I had gotten a wind chime to hang over her baby's crib when the baby was born, of course, because I'm a Beatle fan. So, and once I saw Imagine, I immediately gravitated towards that. So we named after the wind chime, and that just seemed to stick. I wrote an article in Your Teen magazine about Imagine. John has a full article. Anybody wants it, I can always pass that on. That was a couple of years ago. We've done different events. We've done full school assemblies. We've always had a display in the Beechwood and the Shaker Library, and we've performed at Cleveland Heights and Beechwood and Warrensville and in Shaker and in Cleveland. We've done support groups and support circles. We've made sure that there was always materials together, and we've gotten our materials from the National Domestic Violence Program and different centers. And so we've been also asked to repeat the domestic violence program later on this year. So things have changed due to COVID situations, so I'm looking to update the materials. A cousin wrote a play called Him, which we have performed, and some of our Shaker neighbors there are MyCom students. There's Sharon Bell and Brenda Pryor, and our MyCom students have performed. We also did it virtually during COVID. We marched in the parade. There's the display, an example of what the display looked like at the library. And I think there's one more slide on Imagine. We Imagine got invited to the, that was in 2019, before everything kind of got shut down. The city had an initiative, domestic violence initiative, and Imagine got invited. So this was at the big breakfast that we had, and we got a plaque.
Well, our hearts go out to you because of the loss of your niece Danielle. Her spirit lives on through you,
Oh yeah.
and what you've been able to bring to the community, on her behalf, and the loss in your family is appreciated by so many people, Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
sharing. Thank you
I
for
hold her
sharing.
here. Okay. So I think do we have time? The last thing is the Moreland Community
Oh,
Theater.
here we are.
Okay.
Bringing it.
There we
Bringing
go
it
with
home,
Our
bringing it
Town,
home. Yes.
featuring Leon Biv and our community neighbors.
This is Shaker Magazine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Shaker Magazine did an article, a feature article that they wrote about my efforts to bring community theater back to Shaker. Hoodie is one of the shows I'm most proud of, and then there's Legend, and there's the last show before the shutdown was Here and Now, and during the COVID situation, we did videos to kind of keep the ball rolling. And then we were able to bring it back. And we had the poetry jam just last month.
Yep.
And that was wonderful with the microns.
Oh, wonderful.
So it was old school and new school. So we paired established poets with new poets, and it was all original work. And the city has asked for the video. We have a video that was completed, and hopefully they'll be posting that on their YouTube channel soon, as well as hopefully the library as well.
Wow, Monica. Do you rest? I mean, what you bring is so valuable to so many people, to the community and everybody you touch, and how you engage people across generations, and across communities. And I remember we had a conversation about how at some point you did some work, and we don't have to talk about it, work that was not theater related, was not on stage, but you had this yearning to come back to the arts. And what you have been able to do is, nothing short of phenomenal, all the work. And I had the opportunity to be in one of your productions, Here and Now. That was wonderful. Just to see you working, on that side of production is.
Well, I'm letting you rest. So just giving you a heads up.
Oh, okay.
I have to say
okay. Yeah, this is great. I was at your poetry jam a couple of weeks ago, so I'm always gonna try to make it there. Yes, so we also have, I want to make sure that I note that I saw a note back here from, we're still talking about Mount Pleasant. Rhonda Wright took swimming lessons at Hamilton. So
okay.
yes. Rhonda was
I might have been her, because I was one of the swim coaches.
Oh.
So I could have been one of the swim coach then.
What haven't you done?
Oh, it wasn't
Taekwondo, you almost made the Olympics. You do the arts. You're so versatile, goodness.
Monica.
Yeah.
Rhonda. It wasn't a swim lesson. They used to do free swim up there.
Okay.
Oh, free swim. Okay.
Yeah, we used to go up there for free swim.
Yeah. No, we had a choice between swimming or gym. And when it was swimming, then we had to have student swim coaches. So that, because with only the one teacher, they had to have several eyes because of the water situation. Yes. But I always took swimming as opposed to gym.
I'm going to read this wonderful note from Rachel Palmer. Look at you, Aunt Monica, doing big and wonderful things. We are so proud. Wonderful job. Love you. So nice to have your family here.
Love you too, sweetie.
Auntie. We have another slide here that folks may be familiar with. Is that our next slide, John? Yes, it is.
Uh,
Everybody remember this? This is wonderful you included this. How it is that we came together, and
mhm.
this is your brainchild. I didn't know what in the world we were going to do, but you brought it to life. And so enjoy. I tell you, Monica, when we needed you most, I'm telling you, that was just absolutely wonderful. What an idea. You know, we didn't know what we were doing in the pandemic, you know, just to bring us outside.
Yeah.
Say a few words about that. You know, what made you think about that?
I don't remember the inspiration. There were two songs because it was a dance sing, and the original song was "Staying Alive."
Mm-hmm.
But during that time when we were planning it, that's when the George Floyd had passed.
Mm-hmm.
Incident had occurred, and I felt that that song was no longer appropriate. And so everyone was dancing really to "Staying Alive." And bless my editor, David Behe, who was a high school student at the time. He's off in California doing videos, and according to his mother, Lisa is doing wonderful. But I miss him because I would be doing so much more videos now. And we had to try to figure out a way to take this "Staying Alive" and morph it now to "Lean on Me." Because the "Lean on Me" song was a song that I had remembered actually from me and my sister, Father Robert. He had a Bill Withers record that we would always, we weren't supposed to touch the LPs, but we of course always touched the LPs. And we were always playing, you know, Bill Withers. We loved that record.
Oh, yeah.
And so the "Lean on Me" just sort of stuck in my head. And so with the directive of being 6 feet apart, and the only way to be was outside, and the fact that David had a drone, it just all kind of coalesced together and was like, okay, that's the way we're going to do it. And so he flew that drone around and captured people, and we drove around in the car and took pictures out of the car, you know, window. And some people sent video in of themselves and sent it in the Dropbox, and he performed magic, and we were able to edit that together, and just grateful.
That's great.
Just grateful. I mean, we just wanted to be able to do something to keep everyone's morale up, because this was a unique situation for all of us. And I'm most proud of the dance thing, and I'm most proud of the stand video that people might remember, because that offered the students who weren't able to have summer jobs that year because of the shutdown, because we were able to get a mini grant and be able to pay them, and they were able to share some of their frustrations and opinions in that video. And I am just so happy to have been able to offer them that voice and that opportunity. And that's what I feel is like one of my callings. That's why I love working with the students, to be able to offer them the voice. That's why I enjoyed the poetry jam so much.
Great. We have a couple more
I want to continue.
We have a couple more. I have a note here from Theo.
Oh, okay.
My brother, my old Rolling Thunder teammate, Justin. With love from Theo, better known as Teddy. Make sure that we, you know, I read that message. So we have a couple more slides, and then, you know, folks, get ready to chime in a little bit, you know, say what you want to say, or put something in the chat to Monica. Here we are. Oh, they're familiar faces.
There I am with our future Cleveland star, who was recently in the film, you know, A Man Called Otto.
Yes, he was.
Peter Lawson Jones. I became a SHAC member back in 2018, Shaker Arts Council. And so that one of the things, and I learned this phrase from Carmela Williams. People often used to say, I'm going to do a bucket list, Well, a bucket list is preparing to die. And so Carmela, I remember saying this casually at neighbor night, and Carmela says, she says it's a dream catcher's wish because you're preparing to live. So that's my new thought process.
Great.
This is part of my dream catcher's wish. And one of the things that was on my list was to be able to direct this this play. I had seen this play on TV. Late at night, it was an old PBS special. It's a fictional meeting of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
And that play had always stuck with me. There were so few things on television that dealt with African American history back then. And so I pitched it to Shaq as a new member. I want to do this play.
Okay.
And this was, Black History Month, and we were also doing Hoodie at the time. So I had 2 plays in production, plus MLK. So I was a little insane for those 3 months because I had those 3 things going on at the same time because I was doing the MLK program as well at the high school. But yes, I got to direct them at Heights Christian Church.
Wonderful, congratulations.
Yes, which of course has a history with Martin Luther King.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we have one more slide, I believe.
Oh, and then because of that, I got connected with the film director and got to work on a couple of films in 2021 and 2022 as a script supervisor. And so this is me on the film 100 Meters, which I, of course, immediately when he was looking for extras, I called my sister and she's in the film. And it's a wonderful story. He wrote it. He was working on, I don't know if it was his master's thesis or not, but it was for school where he had to complete a film from the beginning to the end. And guerrilla filmmaking at its finest. We rented a room on the west side, where you rent those rooms you stay in, not a hostel, I can't think of what they're called. And we basically decorated it and we filmed there, and some of the crew stayed there overnight. And this is me with the director going over the script, and he treated me like gold. He sat me up with the monitor and headphones, and it was just a wonderful experience, even standing outside when our outside scenes and in the wind and the cold and the snow, because it's February. But it was just a wonderful experience, and I know he's going to do great things.
I had to share this note with you from Margaret Simon. And then I'll go back to your other note, Margaret. It says, I just looked up the meaning of names, and Monica is a feminine name of Latin origin, greatly associated with acts of service. Thanks, Monica. Wow.
Mom, did you know that?
That's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
How appropriate. And I saw that Margaret had another note here. Thank you, Margaret. How lucky Shaker Library to benefit from 2 amazing women. Donna Whyte was former library board member, and Monica. I lost it. And Monica, our resident thespian. Is that, I'm paraphrasing. Thank you. Yes. And Monica Boone is our resident thespian. Thank you, Monica. I'm going to ask folks if there's anything you all would like to say, chime in, ask a few questions of Monica.
You tell them your name.
Yes.
My name is on the screen.
Okay. This is Earlene Hooper.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes, go right ahead, Ms.
Yes.
Hooper.
Monica, I knew you were an actress, and I knew that you had so much experience working with young people, but I've just been thrilled this evening. I have been thrilled. You are truly an asset to our community, and thank you so much for all that you are doing, all that you have done. God bless you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. And Kevin has shared with us the director of 100 Meters is Jonathan Jameson, who is Vanetta Jameson's son.
I did not know that.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful, wonderful information.
Yes, thank you. I did not, he
Thank you
didn't
for
tell me
sharing
that,
that.
but you know.
Who else wants to share? We see, well, let's point out a few folks. Melanie, wave your hand so everybody knows Monica's sister. And Janet and Ernie Jenkins, Monica's parents. Hello. Are there other family members here, Monica, you'd like to introduce us to?
Well, I saw Rachel and Regis. Well, I just saw their names, but their picture was not shown, and I don't know who else is there.
We have a lot of wonderful.
We're all here. We're all here.
Hey,
Diane, Rachel.
hey guys, thank you.
Amber is here.
Oh, hi, Amber. Amber, wonderful. She's done our domestic violence program and has been the actress along with Janaea, has read the play hymn for us.
Nice, nice, nice. Oh, Monica, you have a story to tell, and you have only told us, I know, a little bit of your story. A little bit of your story. Oh, I mean, from theater to film, your Emmy and your Oscar are waiting for you. So
Yes, I'm cleaning off a space on my bookshelf for them right now.
yes, yes, yes. This was absolutely wonderful. Anybody else want to chime in? This was great. Well,
Monica,
mhm.
can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. We're stuck in technology.
Oh.
So this is Monica's mom and dad. We're just so proud of you, Tanny. Thank you so much for sharing all this with us again.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Thank you. Just a wonderful family.
Okay.
And
Monica, I got to talk on the phone because my computer's not working. I'm so proud of you as well. I just, you keep raising the bar, girl.
Who is it?
Your sister.
Oh. Well, I could see you, but I couldn't hear. Okay.
Yeah, you just keep raising the bar. You make us all very proud. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
wonderful.
And I couldn't do it without your guys' support. I mean, you come to my Wormwood when I worked on the horror movie, you come to the premiere. We've got tons of pictures of you guys there, and when you scan the crowd of the poetry jam or some of the other plays, and you guys are there. And that means the world to me, because the first thing that you do, any person who's ever performed, the first thing you do is you peek through the curtain, you're looking for that person in the audience. And I always feel 100% confident that my family is going to be in the audience.
Yeah.
And that kind of, love and support is priceless. And thank you guys for that. And I'm just, my mission in life is to just do good work and to make you proud. And my goal is to continue this and to, I want to do documentaries and bios with them eliminating, Black history in schools. I want to do bio documentaries like the old TV show Biography that Peter Graves used to narrate, and I want to do those kind of things, and hopefully I'll be doing that with the new organization that I'm working with, Truth and Vision, and film and Be Teach Theater, and to just continue to grow.
Well, we'll be watching out for you, Monica. Yes,
Thank
we will. You just put it out there. It's recorded. So
Okay.
checking on you. We'll be checking on you. Couple more notes. Margaret Simon says Hollywood may have the Oscars. Shaker has the Monicas. The Monicas. I love it. Oh, and then Vanetta Jameson says, wonderful story. Thank you for sharing. And Carmela says, Monica, wow, you have such a wonderful story.
Thank
A
you.
wonderful person. Thank you so much for sharing. You're just so generous. You know, I mean, I have to just share with everybody. When I had a conversation with Monica the other day in preparation for our discussion today, I have a number of pages of notes. I was just, enthralled with the 10 pages. I had single space. I'll send them to you, Monica, for your autobiography.
Okay.
For your autobiography, in case you forgot anything. There's something else that I want to share with everyone, but we're going to do this all together because March is Monica's birthday. What is the date, Monica?
27th.
The 27th of March is Monica's birthday. So all together, everybody should sing happy birthday. Unmute yourselves. Everybody unmute yourselves. We're going to sing happy birthday to Monica.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
To you.
Happy
Birthday to you.
Everybody's on
Birthday, dear Monica.
Happy
Happy
birthday to
birthday
you.
Hey.
I think we needed
Right.
direction, Monica.
Happy birthday.
Birthdays
Lord,
in the whispers.
may the good Lord bless you.
May
May the good Lord bless you. May
May
the
the
good
good
Lord
Lord bless
keep
you.
you.
May the good Lord bless you. We love you, Monica. We love you.
Love you, Monica.
You.
Take care.
You've been a
Bye-bye.
blessing.
Bye-bye.
Take
Thank you
care.
all.
Love you, Monica.
Good night.
Thank you for
Bye-bye.
being here.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I want to make an announcement real quick.
Congratulations,
For those
Monica.
of you who are
Thank
still
you.
here, next month's Witness to History will be an interview with members of Eastview United Church of Christ. So please mark your calendar for Sunday, April 16th at 6 o'clock. And we will have a wonderful conversation with a few members from Eastview United Church of Christ. If you are interested in being our guest on Witness to History, and I'm hoping the calls and emails flood into me, please. Please give me a call at 216-509-4018. Everybody knows my number. Or email me. And here it is, donnawhite1@gmail.com. So John and I are in this for the long haul. We've been doing this for almost 3 years, started in 2020, and here we're in 2023. There are many more Moreland neighbors that we would love to interview. So please join those who have already been interviewed and can be a part of the collection of interviews we have on the library website for our enjoyment and for everybody else who can get to know residents of Moreland better, just like tonight with this wonderful conversation with Monica. Thank you, Monica. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Monica.
Thank
Good
you so
job,
much.
Thanks, Monty.
Thank you, Monica.
Bye.
Good
I'd
night.
like to
Bye-bye.
take this
Good
opportunity
night.
Oh,
to thank everyone
Bye.
for this award.
that's
Okay,
wonderful.
I wouldn't expect anything less from you. You know that, right?
Yeah. Monica, hold your Monica up. That's great. Congratulations.
One of the cast gave me this from, I don't know if it was for our town, but for one of the shows. So here we go.
Yes.
All right,
Thank
Monty.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna stay and read some of the chats
Bye.
because I didn't get a
Okay.
chance to read them before.
Yeah.
So
Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
bye,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you all. Love you all.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
This is Sharon.
LLIP.